Like that's... Like, Atta Firebargrave will never score a championship goal a day in his life. Neither will Daniel Green.
At least we should be able to see one or two of these players in our national team already.
And then if we're going... Wagwan sports fans, welcome back to another episode. I'm your host Joe Meyer.
I'm Rush.
And this is This or That Sports TV, the place you guys come to get the best, most interesting and riveting sports topics, discussions and debates on the internet.
Yes, people. Thank you guys for tuning in to another video. Before we get into whatever we have to discuss today, bro, because we have a whole reason. I have to thank the viewers and subscribers, bro. We're at what, 2,000 subscribers now, a little bit over 2,000, but let's just say 2,000.
No, man, I lie.
Yeah, bro, we're growing. We start this one November, a couple months ago, not even a year later, we're at 2,000, so I have to give thanks. Thank you guys. But, we don't want to like the channel, we don't want to support it. Some more you tell them how them can continue to support, bro.
Yeah, man, well, as I said, a few people obviously have been getting us to 5 subscribers, but not all our subscribers. So I'm going to reiterate to you guys one more time. If each one of you guys watching this video right now, if each one of our 2,000 subscribers can get us 5 subscribers each, do you know how many subscribers that will get us by the end of the day?
Because if somebody can go do the maths again.
That matter easy now,
yeah,
bro.
that's easy.
That matter easy, man, isn't me?
Yeah, I bless up nobody, I bless up for them real quick, where I move on, alright though.
When this I go post?
To it?
Alright.
Later.
So for all of the fathers who are watching, because we know a whole heap of people are watching, happy Father's Day to all the fathers who are support with. Congratulations for getting the youth and we need to encourage Rush.
You know what I'm going from morning me here, so I'm on the gelding truck. Gelding truck, brother.
People
left that.
On the IG.
Mommy, go out with the face still.
On the IG. DM Rush and tell him say me for jump off of the gelding truck. Right? Now look good, I'll get yourself a child, bro.
Mommy, hold the face.
Anyways, people.
Anyways, anti-serious business. Yeah, bro, we there for all a reason about the succession planning of the Jamaica men's national team, bro. Yeah, I say there are some things that are happening that we like and some that we don't necessarily like, so we want to discuss it. Obviously, our under-20 team is in a competition right now, in a tournament. They're competing. They played a match against Costa Rica a couple days ago. And we are going to, talk about it a little bit and about the national team and how will those players transition into the national team. What exactly is Jamaica trying to do to ensure that they're at 2026 World Cup and the World Cups after that? Let's talk about it, bro. So the plan, what is the plan? Right now, I hear Paul talk about someone 16 and 8 or
16 and 7 situation.
16 and 7.
Which
8 one of them.
The concept, what he's trying to accomplish is what we should be trying to accomplish. However, his execution, I think, is flawed. And even if he's going through with that plan, the personnel that he's using to fit the manuscript, to fit the amount of people or the allotment of people, the quote-unquote quota system, is not how it should be done. What do you think about the 16 and 7 situation?
And so I've given it some thought, bro. And if it depends on what our goal is. If our goal is to forget about everything for the next 2 years, and it's to ensure that we develop players and push through young players so that when 2026 or 2025 come around and we are trying to qualify for the 2026 World Cup, we will have a fresh, young, hungry squad. Then I guess we can go with majority of the team being strong. I don't think that's what Jamaica is trying to do, where we're scrapping everything, forget about Nations League Gold Cup, and just focus on bringing through the youngsters that are hungry at the moment. No, that's not what we're doing. What we're trying to do is have a mix-up. So we're trying to have experienced players and try to mix it with players that are supposed to be the succession plan. Now, as I said, I like the idea. I do think 8 is too much. If you're going to say 16, obviously you would have to have players that are a part of your core group now that would still be a part of the succession plan. Didn't hear Paul mention that? He just said, hey, we have 16 that are hungry and we're demanding to win right now. And then you have 7 that are supposed to be developing, getting exposure, experience. And if that is the sole purpose of selecting those 7 is way too much. If you want to give somebody experience and exposure because you believe they will be the next up, like if you believe Christopher Pearson or, just to call a name, if you believe Christopher Pearson or
Daniel Green
is next up is the next Liam Bailey or the next Alvas Powell, and you want to give them some experience, you call one in a tournament to say, all right, be around the boys. You call two, if they're good enough, obviously, be around the boys. But you don't call 8 people for the sake of experience. And we're calling 8 people that we believe shouldn't be in the team.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that a little bit. Some people that don't meet the age requirements to be next up,
But
and don't meet the quality requirements to be
there
right
wasn't
now.
even any specific age requirement.
If you're next up, you can't be 28, bro.
I can't even speak. There wasn't even any requisite age requirements per se, which is unclear to me. So I need Paul Hall to be more transparent about what is required for the 7. Because what he said is the 16 best players available, and then 7 players that he hopes to give exposure and to quote unquote develop. What are the parameters for these 7? And who are the 16 and who are the 7? You get me? So those are all questions that we the people need to be answered.
But I think we can look through it and sift through, bro. I think if we're going to talk about the 7, I'd say Tariq McGee, Okwesa Chung, Daniel Green, Paris.
So that's
Simpson.
That's Green, Paris, Chung, Simpson.
I'm thinking about the players that are not quite at the level to be playing for Jamaica. That's all I'm thinking about. So if me I go for that, then I forgot Bygrave. I forgot Thomas when you select Thomas.
Yeah, and there's Ramon Howell.
I forgot Howell whenever.
But the last 3 that we mentioned, they're past 25.
This is where it gets kind of. So are you telling me that Atafari Bygrave is a part of the core 16? That is madness.
That has to be the case. That's the only way I can explain it. Because why else would Bygrave be in the setup?
Because it's not about being next up. Yes, I guess Bygrave is going to be is at the end of his prime right now.
Yeah.
If we're going by
biology.
Yeah, and just how it is. Bygrave is at the peak of his career right now. If starting the back end, so you're not no next up. If we're going to talk about Daniel Green, whatever you believe in them, Paul, I'll fine. I don't think that is the right selection. And we are going to a selection right now, so you can pull up the under 20 squad.
Yeah.
But it kind of confused me when we are select big man. I can't say they're a part of the 16, but I definitely know that they're not a part of the 7. So,
make sense.
No, it could be that Paul Hall has the right idea, but his squad selection was influenced. And that is where the philosophy and the execution, you kind of lose me right there. So. Because we're looking at an under 20 squad that has players that are better than our senior team.
Yeah.
That is
Guaranteed.
crazy. That is crazy. We're calling up people for the senior team that are goalkeeper in the under 20 is better than. That doesn't make sense. We're calling up forwards that players in the under 20 team is better than.
The likes of Daniel Green or Bygrave, so on and so forth. The Reggae Boys youth squad number 9, Clark. He has 14 caps for Reading, and he's not an academy player. So fine, the goalkeeper plays at Reading, but he's an academy player. Matter of fact, not even an academy. He plays for the under 23s, which is still the academy. He plays in the Premier League too. But Clark, the forward who came on and scored for us and changed the game when he came on the number 9. When I did some deeper digging into this person, he's a full-fledged professional player. He played 14 games and I think he has 2 championship goals. Like that's... Atafari Bygrave will never score a championship goal a day in his life. Neither will Daniel Green. And then some would say fine, the whole English passport, so on and so forth. Okay. If Daniel Green was on Clark's level, don't you think Green would at least be in the USL? Don't you think he would at least be playing in Scandinavia? Like Scandinavia or some European situation like the likes of the Paris and a Chung, so on and so forth. If he was as good as this kid. And this kid is here, never been called up for the national senior team. I have the likes of Bygrave, Daniel Green, Nicholas Nelson, constantly in and around the team. And this Clark youth, this is the first time he's ever wearing a Jamaican shirt. Yeah. In a youth program.
I don't say it all the time, bro. I'm gonna say it again. Somebody now do them job properly. And maybe this is an attempt to do it the right way this time, where we're starting to get some of some of the players that are overseas that wasn't really born in Jamaica. We're trying to get them in early in the under 20s and force feed them
Which is good.
Which is good.
Because not all of them can make the senior team.
Not all of them will make the senior team. Not because you're able to play an under 20 or that don't mean they will transition to the national team. But at least we should be able to see one or two of these players in our national team already.
And then if we're going to go by the 16 and 7 philosophy, what better way to introduce it than to have this goalkeeper who is playing for Reading in instead of Hakeem Chambers, who was born in 1998?
Because according to common sense and football logic, Boyce Clark is his name. He's next up. According to logic, he's our under 20 keeper, which means that if he continues on the path and trajectory that he's on, he's going to be Jamaica's number one at some point. The under 20 should, or at least, be a part of the three. So why?
And
why is he just introduced?
We saw the likes of Donovan Ricketts being introduced at a similar age, and Andre Blake being introduced at a similar age. So why wouldn't then this individual, who is obviously so clearly talented, not be introduced? You know, when he's as good as or better than the other goalkeepers that are playing in the squad.
Another point I'm going to make: the players that we do see get introduced, we see Zimenez get introduced to the national team. I see Pearson get introduced to the national team. Obviously, I've only watched one game of the team, but Zimenez and Pearson were far from standouts in that game. I watched the entire 90 minutes. They were far from standouts. They didn't look like the best players on the pitch, and we'd even go as far to say they were not the best players on the pitch.
And one of the two have an international cap.
Yeah.
Two
international. Yes, he's played 2 games.
Caps, yeah.
And
one start.
Pearson is in and around the team. You know, so it's kind of weird. Why is Zimenez and Pearson getting the call, but Clark is not getting the call? They're in the same team. They're in the same pool.
And Clark
they're able to play for Jamaica.
And that's the thing, and that goes to commitment. We see these kids at 18 clearly influenced by their parents to take up an international call-up. That means they're in tune with their culture, and that means they're willing and ready to play for us from the age of 18. And we're not capitalizing on this opportunity. So now next year, Clark goes out in the championship and scores 11 goals, 12 goals for Reading. He gets bought by Leicester City, or Burnley, or Brighton. He goes out, he plays in the Premier League, he scores 20 goals. He gets a call up from the England national team. Why would he ever turn on that call up?
True. This is true. And you know, to talk about, I kind of have a different perspective now on something we always talk about, and that is dual nationals, right? Now you have there's a possibility of playing for more than one team.
Yeah.
Right? Sometimes in the past, I can say, I feel a way when players opt not to play for Jamaica, but they have a choice. And to be honest, they were born in another country.
Yeah. And
they grew up in another country. They are familiar with the culture of another country. Obviously, they might have the love for that country. Not that they don't love Jamaica, but obviously they are, they will be more persuaded to play for that country. Now, if you introduce them to the Jamaican culture and what it means to be Jamaican and all of that, and they don't want to play, come and play. I am off the wagon that said let's beg people to play now. I was thinking about it hard for the past couple of days. I'm like, why should I beg someone to play? Like, if I have to beg you, I don't really want you to play. Now, if I can talk to you and get you to understand what it means to be Jamaican and play for Jamaica and embrace your Jamaicanness, fine. But I don't really want to beg nobody. So, let's say you have somebody that's playing the unders for Jamaica. Then you go to you're a standout in England, and then England call you, and then all of a sudden you forget about Jamaica. I don't feel that Jamaica feel big at this point.
No, but at the point you have an individual who is so clearly talented. If you had played him in the World Cup qualifiers,
there would be no England calling him.
When he's committed to Jamaica right now, like he has come to play the under 20s.
And if he gets selected for the under 20s, if they call him for the Nations League, why him now come?
Exactly.
He might play under 20.
Exactly, so and him go out and him get him passport. They get me and saying this kid has played 14 games. This kid has played 14 games for Reading in the championship and has scored. Like
that's no small feat.
Exactly. So and we have the likes of Green and Bygrave.
Bro, we've had League 1 and 2 players in our national team. This is a championship.
Exactly.
Player. And we've had League 1 and 2 players and lower championship team players.
So make it make sense to me. How fine if he isn't in the 16, which I don't believe he's in this quote unquote 60. But how is he then not in the 7? How then does that make any sense? Make it make sense. Why has he never been called up to the team before? Why doesn't he have a cap? We see the likes of Moy Hutchinson and this Clark and the goalkeeper.
That wants to play for Jamaica,
as well as other outstanding players who were in the team as I said, people, I'm not very familiar with under 20 team, but I will be definitely delve deeper into them and the personnel.
Yeah.
But these players that I've looked into, they're like standouts in their club, in their situations, and they're definitely going to make a name for themselves. If we call in 16 and 17, it has to be these players. It has to be 18-year-olds who are already fully professionals. I keep on saying it with Daniel Green, like you're a talented young player, but you're not getting any younger. I think maybe if Daniel Green was put in a position where he was being trained at a higher level, for example in a USL team or in a Scandinavian team, so on and so forth, he would be a better footballer. We saw it with Junior Fleming, how much his game has improved. So I'm not writing off these JPL players. I'm just saying,
this is not where we should be looking for a national team.
Get yourself into a better program and develop yourself, and you'll be more marketable for the national team to be a part of his quote-unquote 16 and 7.
100%. 100%. But yeah, bro, nice little discussion. Not gonna make it too long. You know, we have a good little reason. People were talking about the succession plan for a national team. Let's talk to us. Talk to us in the comment section. What do you think about this? Who do you think should be a part of that 7?
But quick question.
Or should?
Like, alright, so how would you do it? Because we don't necessarily agree with the 16 and 7. So how would you go about it?
Because we're not trying to do a developmental
so
plan.
how would you go about because remember, you have to think about
I'd have
the
a
country's football.
I'd have a 2-3 spots solely dedicated to experience and players that are next up. We see it with England, bro. We see it with Belgium. Like Sambi Lakanga is a player that I'm an Arsenal fan, so we know about this. Lakanga, he barely plays for Arsenal. He get a lot of minutes in the last campaign because of injuries to Partey and one like that. Sambi Lakanga got called up for Belgium.
Yeah.
No, Sambi Lakanga might not be at the World Cup.
He will not be at the World Cup.
He will not be at the World Cup. It's safe to say.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he will not make that Belgian 23. But he was called up in one of those 2 or 3 spots to say, all right, you're next up. Let's give you some exposure because you're good enough.
And I'd go further to say that if we probably dig deeper into Lakanga's history, he'd probably have
who knows?
eligibility to play for another country.
But we see it all the time, bro. We see it all the time. Calvin Phillips, Smith Rowe, all those players that England just, hey, you look like a next up. You're good enough. Yeah. All right, you might be this much off the number 1 or number 2 or number 3.
Are you a dual national? Or do you have the ability to become a dual national?
So 7 is too much for me. To answer the question, 7 is too much for me. But I do think we can have a 2 or 3 spots that is solely dedicated to that, while we have a core of succession plan in our main plan. Because your main plan can't just be a bag of 40-year-old man when you compete. So you have to have succession in that 16. I'm going to need Paula to talk to that a little bit. Because I may have a discussion, I may say, okay, Liam Bailey, Shaman Nicholson, the 24s and 25s that are, well positioned in this team and senior players at this point. Yes, they are a prime part of our competing right now, but they are also a part of the succession plan, if you get what I say. Like, Liam Bailey will be at the next 2-3 World Cups if Jamaica make it. Like, he will be a part of the Jamaican team for the next 10 years if he wants to be. You get me? I say, so that is also succession while being a part of the main team. Probably Paul Allen have to say that because it's self-explanatory, but I want him to talk. I just don't want him to say 7 for exposure, bro.
I wouldn't even say those guys are a part of, for example, Hurricane has been captain in England for about 2 years.
True.
Like,
if you look at that,
and Hurricane still, relative. Obviously, now he's getting closer to 30. But when he started to captain England, he still had 2 more World Cups in him.
It's not
because
so much,
Hurricane will be in Qatar and Hurricane will be in America.
True. It's not so much succession, but continuation. That's what it is. So Liam Bailey is not no succession because succession, by definition, it's taking over from who is leading
Liam
right
Bailey
now.
is right.
Liam Bailey is now.
Yeah.
But that is continuation. That speaks to continuity in the national team. So probably want Paul to be a little bit more transparent where that is concerned. But this whole 7 players just for exposure thing, I don't know if I love it. I think it's too much. And we are doing it wrong. Anyways.
If you might do the 7 players, bro,
do it right.
Like Clark and the goalkeeper.
And Hutchinson.
Yeah, and these guys have to be in the team. Yeah. Fine, make we go. Super young and talented with great potential. So make the 60. I don't believe it should be 7, But if we got 7, bro, we can't see Thomas and Howell. When we literally have players who are just as if not more talented than these players that we're carrying, that are already fully professional, that are way younger. I want, bro, if we're doing the 16 and 7, the 7 has to come from this under 20 team.
Yeah. After.
Unless we see the likes of a Daniel Green get a contract or you know, if Tariq Magee was playing more in Belgium.
Or a Paris.
Yeah,
that was
fine.
to make a transition and it's working.
And Paris is growing from stride to stride. So Paris can be a part of that plan. And sooner or later, bro, Paris might be a part of that quote-unquote 60. He's on that trajectory. You get me as like a player like Shamar Nicholson. He's starting a similar path. But the majority of the 16 and 17, it has to come from this under 20 team.
Right.
Siri, I try to end the video.
I want to Siri dog. She has enough submerging. We can't take her a while, bro. What are we that still?
Yeah,
iPhone.
man.
So you know say iPhone. I really think.
No, man, I lie.
Yeah,
Anyways, people, I can remind you one more time before we go. Each one of you guys get us 5 subscribers. And that would be 10,000 subscribers by the end of the day.
Yes, my people.
I finally did the maths.
Yeah. How long it take you? Probably 20 minutes.
Just cool, man.
What are we that people? Like, comment, share, subscribe. Join the discussion. What do you think about this? Nice to talk. But for now, so this is That Sports TV.
And we're out.
Yeah.